What if the Ram engine everyone recommends is the dumbest one to buy long-term? Hemis sound great, until they don't. Cummins pull hard, until the repair bill hits. Meanwhile, 3 ignored engines keep stacking miles, while owners of the good ones are rebuilding. I've watched guys spend $6,000 fixing engines they were told were bulletproof. And I've watched other guys buy these for $12,000 and never open the hood. Stay until the end for the engine nobody brags about. No hype, no drama, just mileage. Let me show you. Engine number 1, the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. Nobody buys a Ram to brag about their V6. Nobody posts pictures of their Pentastar on Instagram. Nobody at the truck meet is talking about their 3.6. Nobody's making YouTube videos about how awesome their V6 sounds. And that's exactly why it's a goldmine. The Pentastar has been in production since 2011, over 10 million units built. It powers everything from Ram 1500s to Jeep Wranglers to Dodge Durangos to minivans. And the reason it's everywhere is simple. It refuses to die. It just keeps running while other engines are getting torn apart for repairs. While Hemi owners are arguing about lifter tick and MDS failures on forums, Pentastar owners are just driving. No drama, no horror stories, no $5,000 repair bills lurking at 100,000 miles. No anxiety every time they hear a noise from the engine bay. Here's what happens when you buy a Pentastar Ram. You change the oil, you drive it. You change the oil again, you keep driving. You forget the engine exists because it never gives you a reason to think about it. That's it. That's the entire ownership experience. Boring? Absolutely. Expensive? Never. I talked to a guy last month who bought a 2018 Ram 1500 with the Pentastar. Paid $13,500. Truck had 108,000 miles on it. He was nervous about buying something with that kind of mileage. His friends told him he was crazy for not getting a Hemi. His wife thought he should spend more on something nicer and more reliable. That was 2 years ago. He just crossed 160,000 miles, 0 issues, not one unplanned repair, not one warning light, not one weird noise. He told me the most exciting thing that happened was replacing the battery last winter. His wife doesn't say anything about the truck anymore. She just watches him drive it every day without problems while the neighbors deal with their Hemi repairs. Meanwhile, his neighbor bought a Hemi the same year, paid $18,000 for a truck with similar miles, felt good about his purchase, loved the sound, bragged about the power to everyone who would listen. The Hemi developed a tick at 115,000 miles, started light, got worse. Dealer diagnosed cam and lifter failure, $4,800 to fix. His better engine cost him almost $5,000 more to buy and almost $5,000 more to fix. That's nearly $10,000 difference. For what? A little more sound at stoplights? His neighbor is still making payments on a truck that already cost him almost $5,000 in repairs. The Pentastar guy paid cash, has 0 debt, and sleeps fine at night knowing his truck will start tomorrow. Talk to another owner, a delivery driver who puts serious miles on his truck. We're talking 40,000 miles a year. He bought a 2016 Pentastar Ram with 120,000 miles on it. Everyone told him he was buying a worn-out truck. His boss said he should lease something new. His mechanic said high-mileage trucks are nothing but problems. That was 4 years and 130,000 miles ago. The truck just crossed 250,000 miles, still on the original engine, still on the original transmission, never been opened. His only major expense? A set of wheel bearings at 220,000 miles. That's it. Everything else has been oil changes, brakes, and tires. That's the Pentastar ownership experience. Mile after mile after mile with nothing but routine maintenance. No surprises, no drama, no 5-figure repair bills. Now look, the Pentastar isn't perfect. No engine is. The early ones from 2011 to 2013 had some cylinder head issues. Valve seats dropping out of the heads, rocker arm bearing failures causing ticking noises. Those problems got fixed. By 2014, most of the bugs were worked out. By 2016, it was solid. The 2016 and newer Pentastars are about as reliable as engines get. The common issues now: oil cooler housing can start leaking around 70 to 120,000 miles. You'll see oil dripping down the front of the engine, maybe smell it burning off the exhaust manifold. That's a $300 to $400 fix at an independent shop. Annoying, but not catastrophic. Catch it early and it's a simple repair. Ignore it and you'll lose oil slowly until something bad happens. Timing chain tensioners can wear eventually at very high mileage. We're talking 200,000 plus. You'll hear a rattle on cold startup that goes away after a few seconds once oil pressure builds. But it's not a $5,000 cam job that requires pulling the engine apart and replacing half the valve train. Here's the money angle. A used Ram 1500 with the Pentastar runs $8,000 to $15,000 depending on year and mileage. A comparable Hemi truck costs $3,000 to $5,000 more for the same year and similar miles. And that Hemi is one tick away from a major repair that costs more than the entire price difference you saved by buying the V6. The Pentastar makes 305 horsepower. Is that Hemi power? No. Will it pin you to the seat when you floor it? No. Is it enough to tow a boat, haul lumber, move furniture, pull a small camper, and do everything most people actually need a truck for? Absolutely. Most truck owners never use more than half the capability they paid for anyway. You're not buying excitement, you're buying peace of mind. And peace of mind doesn't break down at 120,000 miles. But the Pentastar isn't the only ignored engine worth your money. Engine number 2, the 4.7-liter V8 Magnum. This one's for the guys who want a V8 but don't want Hemi problems. The 4.7 Magnum was built from 1999 to 2013. It's the forgotten middle child of Ram engines, not as powerful as the Hemi, not as efficient as the V6, just sitting there, ignored, while everyone argues about the other two. And that's exactly why it's cheap, and exactly why it lasts. The 4.7 doesn't have the MDS system that kills Hemis. No cylinder deactivation, no complex lifter oil management system, no tiny needle bearings waiting to fail and send metal through your engine. Just a simple, straightforward V8 that makes power and doesn't complain about it. I've seen these engines go 200,000, 250,000, even pushing 300,000 miles. Not babied garage queens that only came out on sunny days. Real work trucks that towed trailers and hauled loads and got used hard every single day by people who needed them to work. The guy who taught me most of what I know about trucks had a 2008 Ram with the 4.7, bought it with 60,000 miles for $9,000 back when that was a lot of money for a used truck. Everyone told him to get the Hemi. Everyone said the 4.7 was underpowered. Everyone said he'd regret it. He didn't listen. He drove that truck to 292,000 miles. Same engine, same transmission. Never opened either one. Never had a mechanic inside the engine. Changed the oil religiously every 4,000 miles. Kept the cooling system happy with fresh coolant. That was his entire maintenance philosophy. Nothing fancy, just consistency. He sold it to his nephew 3 years ago. It's still running, still being used as a work truck, still hauling stuff every day. Probably going to hit 350,000 miles before anything major happens. I met another 4.7 owner at a parts store last summer. He was buying spark plugs for his 2006 Ram. I asked him about the truck. He laughed and said he'd lost count of the miles. Turned out the odometer stopped working at 240,000 miles. He's been driving it for 3 more years since then. Conservative estimate, the truck has well over 300,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. He changes the oil every 4,000 miles and doesn't worry about anything else. Another guy I know runs a small moving company. He bought 3 4.7 Rams specifically because they were cheap and nobody wanted them. Paid under $8,000 each. His guys load them heavy, drive them hard, sit in traffic, and don't baby them at all. 2 of them have crossed 200,000 miles. The third is close behind. Total engine repairs across all 3 trucks? 0. Not 1. He spent money on brakes, tires, and 1 alternator. The engines just keep running. Quick thing, if you're finding value in this, hit subscribe. Costs nothing and helps the channel keep exposing what dealers won't tell you. Here's what you need to know about the 4.7. It doesn't like to overheat. The aluminum heads can warp if you let it get too hot. One bad overheating event, running it hot for too long, ignoring the temperature gauge, driving with a failed thermostat, can crack a head or blow a gasket. So keep the cooling system maintained. Fresh coolant every 3 years, good thermostat, working fans, functional radiator with no clogs. Do that, and this engine will outlive your interest in owning it. The other thing, valve seals can start seeping oil at high mileage. You might see a little puff of blue smoke on startup after the truck sits overnight. It's not catastrophic. It's not a sign of imminent failure. It's just old engine stuff. Most guys live with it for years and years without any problems. Add a quart of oil every few thousand miles and keep driving. It's not worth fixing unless it gets really bad. Common repairs? Water pump around 100,000 miles, maybe $150 to $250 depending on where you go. Thermostat, $50 and an hour of work. Spark plugs every 60,000 miles. These are normal maintenance items, not engine-killing failures. Nothing scary, nothing expensive. Here's the money angle. A Ram with the 4.7 costs significantly less than a Hemi truck. We're talking $8,000 to $12,000 for a clean example with reasonable miles. Some guys are finding them for $6,000 to $8,000 if they're patient and willing to look. Compare that to Hemi trucks going for $15,000 to $20,000 with similar miles. The 4.7 makes 235 to 310 horsepower, depending on year and configuration. That's real V8 power. Not Hemi power, but enough to tow 5,000 pounds without sweating. Enough to merge onto the highway without embarrassment. Enough to feel like you're driving a real truck with a real V8 under the hood. You get V8 sound, V8 capability, and none of the Hemi drama. The trucks are out there. Nobody wants them because they're not the cool engine. That's your opportunity. Their loss is your gain. But there's one more engine that might be the biggest sleeper of all. Engine number 3, the 3.7-liter V6 PowerTech. This is the engine nobody brags about. The engine dealers can't give away. The engine that sits on lots for months while everyone walks past it looking for a Hemi badge. And it might be the smartest buy on this entire list. The 3.7 PowerTech was built from 2002 to 2012. It's a smaller V6 that Ram used in the 1500 in Dakota. Most people skip right over it without a second glance. Too small, not enough power, not a real truck engine. Can't tow anything serious. Waste of a truck. Why would anyone buy that? Those people are wrong. Dead wrong. The PowerTech is mechanically simple. No variable valve timing on the early models. No cylinder deactivation. No complex computer-controlled systems waiting to fail and leave you stranded. Just a basic V6 that starts every morning and doesn't ask for much in return. It's the kind of engine that just works. I know a contractor who runs a 2009 Ram 1500 with the 3.7. Bought it 8 years ago for $7,000. It had 90,000 miles on it. Everyone told him to spend more and get a Hemi. Everyone said he'd regret buying the weak engine. Everyone said he was wasting his money on a truck that couldn't do real work. He uses that truck every single day, hauls tools and materials, pulls a small utility trailer loaded with equipment, beats on it constantly, doesn't baby it, doesn't garage it, parks it outside in the snow and rain, and expects it to start every morning. It always does. It just crossed 230,000 miles. He's done oil changes, brakes, and one water pump. That's it. Total maintenance cost over 8 years, maybe $2,000 including tires and brakes. The engine has never been touched, never been opened, never given him a single problem. His buddy bought a Hemi Ram around the same time, paid almost twice as much, felt good about his purchase, bragged about the power, 2 cam jobs later, 1 transmission rebuild, countless hours sitting in shop waiting rooms, over $14,000 in repairs on a truck that cost twice as much to buy in the first place. The PowerTech guy is still driving, still working, still making money with his truck, still laughing every time his buddy complains about his Hemi. I talked to a landscaper last fall who runs 2 PowerTech Rams in his fleet. He bought them specifically because they're cheap and reliable. His guys beat on them daily, hauling mulch and dirt, pulling trailers loaded with mowers, sitting at idle for hours while they work. One truck has 180,000 miles, the other has 210,000. Neither has had a major repair, not one. He said he'll keep buying them as long as he can find them because nothing else gives him this kind of reliability for this kind of money. Another guy I met at a job site had a 2007 Ram with the 3.7. Bought it from his uncle for $4,000 with 110,000 miles on it. Everyone told him he got ripped off. Everyone said the truck was worn out. Everyone said he'd be putting money into it within 6 months. That was 6 years ago. The truck just crossed 200,000 miles. He's put maybe $1,500 into it total, and that includes a new starter and an alternator. The engine itself? Never touched, never opened, never gave him a reason to worry. The PowerTech can hit 200,000 to 300,000 miles if you maintain it properly. The key is oil changes. This engine does not like old oil. The lash adjusters can stick if the oil gets thick and sludgy. Change it every 5,000 miles with quality synthetic, and it'll run forever. Skip oil changes or go cheap on oil, and you'll kill it with sludge. Your choice. The engine will give you exactly what you give it. The other thing to watch, timing chain tensioners can wear around 125,000 miles. You'll hear a rattle on cold startup that goes away after 30 seconds or so once oil pressure builds. That's your warning. Fix it before it becomes a bigger problem. It's a real repair, maybe $600 to $1,000. But it's not a bank breaker. And if you catch it early, you avoid the catastrophic failure that comes from ignoring it. Here's the money angle. Rams with the 3.7 are dirt cheap. We're talking $5,000 to $10,000 for trucks that would cost $15,000 to $20,000 with a Hemi. Some guys are finding clean, low-rust examples for under $7,000, and that's a running, driving, working truck for less than most people spend on a down payment for a new vehicle. The 3.7 makes 210 horsepower. That's not a lot. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend it's secretly fast. You're not towing 10,000 pounds with this engine. You're not winning any races. You're not impressing anyone at the stoplight. But if you need a truck for daily driving, light hauling, and occasional towing under 5,000 pounds, this engine does all of that without drama, without expensive repairs, and without draining your bank account every time something goes wrong. The trucks are everywhere. Nobody wants them. Prices are low and staying low because demand is low. And they just keep running while the better engines keep breaking. That's the definition of a gold mine. 3 engines, all cheap, all ignored, all absolute gold mines. The Pentastar V6, over 10 million built, proven reliable, and thousands cheaper than a Hemi. The 4.7 Magnum, a simple V8 without the MDS drama, running strong past 250,000 miles. The PowerTech 3.7, dirt cheap trucks that nobody wants and everybody should. Stop chasing hype. Start chasing value. If you want to know how to make any Ram last over 300,000 miles, I broke down the complete maintenance schedule right here. And if you want to see the 10 tricks that make your Ram run better for almost no money, watch this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.